Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about what happens to your personal data in or after a data breach. Now we all are familiar with data breaches and of course that they occur, but no one really talks about what happens to that information after a data breach. Many of us know that that information winds up on the dark web, but the challenge is, where does it go from there? Now, the end effect, obviously, if after you've suffered a data breach, is the fact that you have your information stolen, social media accounts are commandeered, and it's just a real royal pain in the butt. But it's important for you to see where your data goes. Maybe that'll make you a little bit more vigilant when it comes to your online accounts, so that way you can do a better job of protecting yourself safe. Because data breaches, for the most part, are user created and are preventable. Using strong passwords and other common sense will keep us all safe. So let's see where that data goes after a data breach. So for starters, let's look at where does that data go after a data breach. I love that. The dark web. And it can be accessed by a browser named Tor. Now, you can't get on the Tor browser and say, hey, I want to find my data and take it off. But if you want to look at the dark web, you can go to a Tor browser. You can search with DuckDuckGo. Or if you know the nefarious websites that are on the dark web, you can definitely find them out and see what personal information is out there. But trust me, you won't be able to go out and find your stuff because all that is organized in a nice, neat file. Now, what do criminals want in the data breach? Now, obviously, information is king. So information such as your addresses, meaning your home address, work address, social security number, phone number, email, and passwords allow criminals to get access to all areas of your life. So that is the type of information that they want. And let's take a look and see how that looks like on the dark web. Not going to the dark web, but I'm going to a website that is provided by privacyaffairs.com. Now this website updates the information that is being stored on the dark web currently, and a price index that shows you how much criminals are paying for your data. So let's take a look at Dark Web Price Index 2023. That sounds ominous, right? Well, it should be, because there's a variety of goods that cyber criminals look for. And as you can see from the website, law enforcement cracked down on a lot of these websites, but meaning on the dark web, but they just pop up overnight. So it's a challenge. But let's take a look at the data that was collected. So these are the types of files that people want. Credit card data, and it doesn't matter. Credit card detail, account balances up to $5,000. $110 is what a criminal is going to pay for that. So it's broken down by category, the product they're looking for, and the average dark web price in US dollars. Next, after your variety of credit card information, it'll break it down by country, cloned American Express with a PIN number, cloned MasterCard with a PIN, same thing with Visa, hacked global credit card details with the CVV. Kind of scary that they've got that information out there. If you've ever wondered why your credit card account information has been posted on the dark web, either A, someone took a copy of it and put it on the dark web, or B, criminals have created programs that will come up with a variety of combinations of credit card numbers. And it depends on what type of credit card it is. They can also generate CVVs and guess your zip code, especially if it's in a particular area. Because as you can see, they could hone it down by country. What makes you think that they couldn't do it by state? Keep that in mind. Now, payment processing services. There you go. Verified Stripe account with payment gateway. Santander personal bank account. Barclays online banking login. Chase login. Hacked Weststein, I believe that's right, account. But these are global. As you can see, this information is floating on the dark web, and it comes from a variety of data breaches that have occurred. And you should know that this information is well organized, so it's easy for criminals to find that information. I had a bug come at me. That was kind of scary because it just like darted at me. All right, next information are crypto accounts. If you've got crypto accounts, information's there, verified, and as you can see, the prices go up a little for crypto. Social media accounts. You should have known this list was on here because criminals are after social media accounts, and you can see why in this list. Sometimes they just want the account so that they can get into the account and look at it. Sometimes they have how many times the account has been retweeted. There's a LinkedIn company page with followers, Instagram, Pinterest, Spotify, SoundCloud, you name it. People want this. Same thing with hacked service accounts that have been hacked. Why? Because people want to use those web-based services, but they don't want to have to pay for it. Oh goodness. Now there's a fly that's flying around. Let's get back to our mission at hand. Oops, I didn't want that, but I did want this. There we go. We have services again, the Kaspersky account, NBA Pass, even streaming services. And there's forged documents that are floating on the dark web as well. As you can see, Maltese passport, Netherlands passport, utility bill templates. What would they use that for? Oh my gosh, to fake your utility bill to make you think that you owe what you want. But as you can see, there is a plethora of information on here. And then finally, how about this email database dump? 10 million US email addresses, New Zealand, Canada, malware. Oh my goodness, the list is endless. But it's important to understand why criminals want that information, and that's so they can steal your data. Can't believe this fly is bugging me. But they want your data, and they want to make money off of it. So that is pretty darn simple. Now let's talk about ransomware real quick. Should you pay it? Well, if it's scareware where you just get a ransomware message on the computer, you just restart your computer and then your information pops back up. But if it's the real ransomware that will encrypt and lock your data, then you still probably shouldn't pay that ransomware, because cyber criminals, they do double duty with ransomware now. They'll take that data, they'll look at it, and then they may just dox it, where they share that information on the dark web and hope that you pay the ransom. So they get paid double duty as far as that ransomware attack is concerned. So keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about what you should do if you're breached, because that's important, because many of you watching this are probably going, well, gosh darn it, I'm breached. What do I do? Well, there's several things that you can do if you are breached. So number one, you want to change all those passwords for your online accounts, including ones that are tied to all of your electronic banking, social media, and other sites. Now, it's probably good practice to stop using passwords and use what's called a passphrase instead. A passphrase is what's the good word for it? 2 or more words that create a strong password that criminals can't guess. And there's a website, and the fly's back. So we're going to go to useapassphrase.com, and that is a good resource for you to go to create a passphrase. If you go to use a passphrase, you can create 2 or more words to make a strong passphrase. So landlord garage, or yapping pulsate, or pulsate garage, or landlord yapping. Any combination of those will generate a passphrase, and there's so many word combinations out there that you can generate a new passphrase. And understand, if you use these passphrases, probably no one on the earth is going to use that passphrase, so keep that in mind. Now, once you use a passphrase, you can add your series of special characters and numbers to make a strong and secure password. Next, you want to make sure that you're contacting banks and anybody who may have that information to let them know that your data was compromised. You want to freeze cards, cancel your existing credit cards, get replacements, etc., etc. Make it happen, because it's better to be safe than sorry. You also want to make sure that you're reaching out to your credit card bureaus or your credit bureaus to report the breach and to make sure that there's a fraud alert on your account. It's important because if there's a fraud alert, then if fraudsters get through, then they already know that, hey, there's a fraud alert and there's nothing that you want to do as far as your credit's concerned. But also, criminals love the wait in the wings, so you need to make sure that you're monitoring your bank accounts to ensure that criminals aren't waiting it out and then pouncing on your information when you think that everything is good to go. They'll wait weeks, sometimes months. And then finally, for this aspect of it, if you have been breached, it's time for Norton LifeLock or any of those credit monitoring services that will alert you to changes to your account. It's important stuff. But also, we need to talk about, man, maybe I've never been breached. How do I prevent data breaches? Well, those steps are pretty simple too, and prevention, 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So again, we talk about passwords, but it should be passphrases. You go to useapassphrase.com, create a strong passphrase, and get out of the old habit of using passwords, which are tied to stuff and information that is probably already on the dark web. It's also important to make sure that you set up two-step or two-factor authentication on your online accounts. When you do that, then criminals, if they get access to your information, won't be able to log into your accounts, because it's going to send you an alert if someone tries to log into that online account. Software updates are important, not necessarily to the programs on your computer, but to your web browser. So if you're using a browser such as Chrome, Edge, Tor, believe it or not, Firefox, Chrome, Edge, and any other browser out there, make sure it's up to date so that you don't fall victim to some of this goofy stuff. One of the things that I forgot to mention was use a password keeper. Since I'm talking about browsers, use the password keeper in your browser in order to stay safe and secure. Doesn't matter if you use the browsers I mentioned. If you get the alert asking if you want to save the password in your favorite browser, say yes. That way your password keeper is in your browser and your password keeper are also alerting you if there have been any breaches, or if someone else is using the same password as you that's listed on the dark web. And then finally, make sure you use data encryption, especially with your cloud-based accounts, such as OneDrive or iCloud. I was going to say something else. Oh, Dropbox. And there is a program called iDrive. Make sure that you are using information as far as data encryption to keep your data safe, and as far as your devices, whether it be your smartphone and your Windows or Macintosh computer, make sure you're enabling data encryption there. So with that said, hopefully that gives you an idea what actually happens to your information when it goes into the dark web. It is nice and neatly organized for cyber criminals to utilize that information. Sometimes there's a fee to get your data. Other times cyber criminals get braggadocio, if that's a word, and give that data for free just to show how effective they are. So with that said, if you've got questions about your data, leave them in the comment section below. Love to answer your questions about data breaches and what you could do about that data, or if you're curious about other data that's been leaked and where it's hiding. With every video, I'm always asking to make sure you comment, like, and share this video, because I know there's friends of yours out there that need tech help, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, always remember, my purpose with these videos is to make sure that you are opening yourself up to a whole new world of ideas and experiences using your technology devices. I love technology. I've read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun, safe, and easy for you. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile. pray that I get that fly. And thanks for watching.